My mother told me someday I will buy Kelly with blue doors, sails to distant shores, stand out high in the prow, noble but steer, steady course to the havens. You many ponies, you many ponies. Alright, I think I'm gonna roll it. Hi, all you beautiful people. One. Garrett, what's up? Sorry, I'm running in and out and in and out. I'm trying to get things set up real quick, so just bear with me real quick. Did that pin it at the top? Tell me now. It's in the chat, but did it pin it? That's the whole question. Shucks, let's see if it actually uploaded this time. Did it? Did it? It doesn't look like it did. Oh. Let me open it up. That fixed it. Okay. So now, pin message. There we go. Now it's pinned. All the extras I have to do in order to get things to work. Hello. Yeah. Hi, GH556. Hello, everybody. So you may be able to tell I'm wearing new shirts. Hello, JBSC. We'll just call it that. My mama's in the room. Otherwise, I'd actually say your name. Because I like it. In about 5 minutes, I'm going to step outside. Yeah, I know. I got to do the update and whatnot.
Well, I'll move out of the way. I don't want, it's late. Can't do it out there. Just do it in here.
I can't do this in here.
Why? Oh, that. Yeah, but you can't. Oh.
Yeah.
So,
I'll try to keep it down.
that's fine as long as you want to do it out there.
It's one of my favorite ones, Jim. I knew back when you threw me an elbow bump, I was like, that's Jim Bob. Shout out to Jim Bob's Arcade. What's up, brother? If you ain't subbed them, sub them. If you ain't subbed JBSC, you go sub JBSC. Links, drop your links. You know that cat with the funny whiskers, drop that. Let me see here. There's a nice blue suit. That should help out. Well, jumping down the rabbit hole, you know how it goes. You are likely to get your fluffy little tail a little damp and dirty. Yeah. Everybody wonders what Top Gun Maverick's target was. Yeah, I didn't. I know exactly which target that was. I know exactly which mountain that's supposed to be. Okay. Believe it or don't. And if you ain't seen the movie, go see the movie. Stop complaining at me about spoilers. Hey, Hawk, what's up, brother? How's my house? Oh, update. I guess I'd say update ski on the Corday ski. You know, um, I am going to be having some very interesting moments. Yep. Two wings, one bird. I just happen to be in the clutches of the talons. Thank you, JH556. Yeah. Y'all drop your links, drop your links, drop links, drop links. Y'all is welcome to.
Where's cooking the bathroom in the basket?
Mm.
I'm heading up.
All right. Night. So yeah, I'm handing out a update. Ha 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 ha. You're calling me sister. That's funny. Um, I call everybody brother. Don't take it personal. Hawk Tooth's breakfast special. I'm gonna have to check that out. There's a likelihood that I'm gonna really muss myself up going through this next. I already see it. I see the writing on the wall. The prosecutor in detail, and I will not release any names for the privacy and protection of the individuals involved. Trust me, I know some of these folks on the YouTube would go, man, I'll go and gut them down. And I'm like, no, don't. It's not how this works. It works if you don't. It works if you let me work. You see how that works? It's just an expungement and getting stuff done like that and handled. I just have to show the justice, that I, show the judge that I am not in an interest of maliciousness, not in an interest of harming others. I'm not an angry person all the time. In fact, most of the time, I'm one of the nicest people you'll meet. It's only when you poke the bear too many times that you end up getting a little bit of and that's just a little bit of It literally takes you attacking me over and over and over and over again and fighting me and being a human being for me to really get on you. You know, sure, I'll whoop some tail, you betcha. Ain't that right, Hoodoo? It makes a better Hoodoo. Yeah, I do. You've been so good behaved lately, good boy. Such a good boy. Look at this Who. Look at this big golomfer. Look at this big golomfer. I love you, my Who. Yes, I'm good home. Yeah, see? He said hi. Yeah, not to them. He said not to them, but to you. I was like, yeah, it doesn't matter. They all still love you on here, Who. So get out your ears. Oh, get out your ears. Okay. I know. It's irritating. Mein Gott, Ho. Yeah, I got it from the thrift store. Um, yeah, it's all a matter of I'm too smart for my own good. I walk into that courtroom and I get asked questions, and you know me, I like to give a whole, complete, proper, and logical answer. Well, you can't do that with a prosecutor. It's either yes or no, or uh, I plead the fifth. I'm well, and even then, you can only plead the fifth on certain things. Gotta keep your eyes from swelling shut, y'all. Gotta chill out, Hoodoo. Yeah, I know. I use whiskey. Yeah, it's whatever suits their case that they want to hear. They don't want to hear you say what suits your case. They want to hear what suits their case. Yeah. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter whether or not what they say looks valid or not. Their case is so thin, it's transparent. I mean, it's so thin, you can see right through it, like this. Um, but yeah, I just gave him some medicine, so it's a matter of he's been laying on his head all day and laying on his side, and it's bothering his ears, specifically because my niece has lice, which is not fun. And I just gave him a flea treatment day before yesterday, so he's not got lice, he's not got fleas, he's not got ticks, he's not got any of that. Okay, it's just a matter of the shit that you shed when you have lice. They can get that in their ears, they can get that in their nose, and get it in their eyes. And you got to keep on cleaning their eyes out. All right, you got to keep on wiping their nose and checking their ears for a little crusty. That's how it is. Not fun. Anyways, so furthering the update with these people, they're people, uh, they're human beings. Fine, they act like demonically possessed animals. I I hate it. I can't believe that our justice system has come to this, where you know somebody to be innocent and you realize that they are in a manner of innocence that you yourself would wish to be held to. And yet, because it's your job, to ruin their lives, you embrace your job over your morality. It's always bothered me. It's always been the reason why I'm not a big fan of prosecutors. I'm also not a big fan of defense attorneys. I think it should be hashed out. Simple as 1, 2, get it done. Don't sit there and beat around the bush and bullshit everybody. Tell the fucking truth, the whole damn truth, and get it done with. And when you ask for the whole truth, expect a fucking novel. Okay? If you say the truth that's pertinent, fine, I can do that. I can do the truth that's pertinent. But you have to say that. But because if you get me to swear to the whole truth, now it's not just the truth that's pertinent, it's the whole truth. It's every bit of it. And I'm going to literally destroy somebody's freaking case. That's why people don't like to put me on the stand. They know I'm going to speak the entirety. I don't give a fuck about your problems. I have my facts straight. And my facts are what have kept me alive. So if my facts keep me alive, then all the better for it, right? And that is why dealing with this particular prosecution, they're going to try and literally crucify me in this instance, in this time where they've got me up on the stand. I've already testified to, everything that actually makes it so that legally speaking, I'm not guilty. Okay. What they're trying to prove is malice, and in order to make it so that the arrest record sticks. The problem with that is that, me, I have no malice in my heart. I have no hatred. I simply just do it when it needs to be done. I get it done, and I get it done now. I'm not interested in explanations. I'm not interested in the Y4s and the weather 2s. I'm interested in get the job done, because obviously there's a reason it needs to be done. Those kittens were very sick. In fact, one of them was so sick that he would not recognize me as a human being anymore, would not recognize me as a friend anymore. And I knew, because if one is sick and he's been around and chewing on and slobbering in the same bowl and this, that, and the other, you can guarantee the other two have been infected. It's just a matter of time. It's horrible. It's sad. It's painful. Trust me, it's an experience I'd rather not had to go through. I'd have liked to have given them all, lovely homes to live in and brought them back from the cusp of being feral, because they were kittens. They could be. Unfortunately, they were ill. They were very sick. And so, knowing what I know and what I knew at the time, only option was to put them down. So I took them, before any of this all started, I had taken them down to the Humane Society to find out if I could get them vaccinated, get them their shots, and get them, taken care of, maybe get them adopted. Instead, I ended up finding out at that point in time that they were closed due to COVID. So the day that all of that went down, I called them up to try and get a hold of them so that I literally could, maybe get an appointment set up. And they told me, sorry, we're not taking calls today. We're not, there's nobody here today except for the handlers. Sorry, nope, not going to happen for several weeks. I said, well, then, so you forced my hand. And then I hung up the phone and I took care of business. Wasn't fun. Hodo Auschen. Das Aui. Das Aui, mein Hund. Aufnehmen. Papa geht's. It was painful to deal with. It was horrible. It's reality, though. It was allow them to suffer and die a very horrible, horrible death or protect them from that ultimate fate of suffering. That's mercy. And you're allowed to do it to an animal. Not allowed to do that for human beings, even though they're trying to get that passed in the government. I'm not approving of it, but what can I say? You know, why is my chat room not scrolling? Did I get locked out of my own chat? What now? Yeah, on both sides. Ain't that nice? Any Hoosiers. Yeah, I gotta get him some rubbing alcohol in his ear, I guess. And I mean that's if I've got any. And I shall tell you what is going on Friday, I guess. Right now it's just, checking the veracity of my claims, whether or not that I knew it would be, so in order to prove that it's no malice in my heart, that I didn't actually intend them any kind of torture or, slow death, and that there was no torture and there was no slow death. And that, it came about that it was a situation where it was ultimately passionate mercy, which honestly is a ruling of innocence in most cases. So I'm just I'm not trying to be the asshole that everybody used to know back when I was 18, 19. I'm trying to be the good guy, all right? The guy that really does what he can to help those he can, to do it, with what he's got, and make this little bit of extra lubrication for the machine, make everything just flow a little easier, a little better. Because if I scratch somebody else's back, then they scratch somebody else's back, and it's monkeys in a circle. That's the whole idea. Someday it's going to come back to me, and I'm fine with that. Until that day, I'm happy and proud of myself knowing that I did something good. That's what I always strive for, is that circle. Yoahako Hitai. We live circle. That's what I'm always looking towards, it, trying to help out other people, trying to help out animals, trying to help out the environment, trying to help out, And when I say trying to help out the environment, I don't mean in a snowflake-ish manner. I mean in a manner of plant trees, grow a garden, water your lawn, grow green things because they make air. They filter the air we breathe. Keep garbage out of the ocean because, it also filters the air we breathe. I mean, I do so much that most people don't even see me doing it. They look at me and they're like, well, how is he doing it? I'm trying to lead by example. Throw your trash in the trash can. If it's like down the block or something, hold it in your hand till you get to the trash can. It's not rocket science. It's simple fucking ecology. You throw that trash on the ground, something comes over to pick it up and find out what's in it. Pretty soon that animal's all screwed up. That's literally where I stand. Right there with anti. And by the way, brother, um, thank you for coming out. Because now you got yourself a blue zoot suit. Just saying. Hope you liked it. Your dress blues is sharp and chipper. All right. So, yeah, I try to do for others. I don't give crap about myself for the most part, but I can't do for others if my legal status precludes me from that. One of those things is my animal care certificate, which can be removed from me if I'm ever convicted of animal cruelty. And that's what they're trying to say that is happening here. They're saying that air guns are cruel, and so you can't hunt with them because they're cruel. Because if you could hunt with them, you shouldn't have them because they're deadly. So they're cruel. Oh, yeah, tell me about it. God, I want to set you loose on. I want to set you loose on a freaking on the court. Just be like, the bitch is back. You know. Hi, Debs. Good to see you. I'm happy that you're back in it. I'm happy you're back in the saddle, and we all doing good. You know. Reality is, I'm still stuck in limbo. Oh well, it's the other part of the militia fighting inside of the the ring of court opinion. Woo! Good to see. Good to see. Look out next week. Are you going to be coming here? Are you going to be trolling here, or are you going to be um coming up on a panel here? I got to know. Yeah, because I'm gonna have some interesting information for y'all. Oh, cool. Awesome. That's good to know. Yeah, I'm going to be the next several probably weeks. Just because that's how it's gonna be until I freaking beat this shit. Um, and that's really what it is. It's just beat it. It's. I mean, I shouldn't have to. Thank you. Not quite sure what that is, but I think that's like I got your Iggy Six, or the other one for that is asshole. I'm both. Anyways, so that's the whole spiel. I'm just literally standing up to these assholes and fighting back, doing what I can because I want the little guy to be able to use this and turn around and be able to protect his property and do what he needs to do in his own way to do what's right. In Oregon right now, you can't even euthanize your own cattle or euthanize your own cattle, or Oklahoma, Oregon, one of the two O's, 3 O's, 4 O's, whatever. I don't understand that mentality of thinking. If you're not allowed to euthanize your own animal, why the fuck you keeping chickens? Oh, that's good. Thank you. And just to be clear, you chop a chicken's head off and you miss the base of its skull, that chicken lives for however long its body will allow it to live. till it bleeds out or whatnot. So think about that for a second. You're not allowed to euthanize chickens. And if you mess up a euthanasia on a chicken, you cause that animal undue suffering. That's the whole reason these little snowflakes out here is all up in the works, because you cause an animal undue suffering. Mind you, you'll see me get pissed if somebody does something to my animals, to my, somebody else. If it's me, because that's my station, that's my job as a pet owner and a caretaker of animals. If I see an animal suffering, I'll try to do my best to get that animal well. If I figure out that I cannot, I'm not going to prolong it. It's going to scare the shit out of me, and it's going to be something that I'm going to fight with all my will and my heart. But once I know for certain that there's no going back, then I'm not going to let it continue. If we build it, they will come. So, on that note, I wonder, do we have any board games here? Maybe we'll figure out something in order to do on my channel and actually make it fun. Like, I don't know, maybe we should dissect this this book right here. Which, if you can read the top of that, it says, if I could get it without the glare, no fear. U.S. Constitution and other documents. The text plus a translation anyone can understand. See, this is what happens when somebody who does not understand law, actual interpretation of law, writes a book about law. Yes, I will read one of my favorites to you, and then I'm going to pick it apart for you, because it pisses me off that anyone would ever say this about the Second Amendment. They think that this is the actual reason for it. It's not. Now listen. Second Amendment to the United States Constitution. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Their interpretation of this, okay? Amendment 2, the right to bear arms, 1791. The people have the right to weapons because a strong militia is needed to protect a free country. The courts have always believed this amendment upholds states' right to arm militias. This is the quote, okay? This is the quotations from the book writer. Not my opinion. This is the opinion of the book writer. Many conservatives, however, believe it upholds individuals' right to own guns. Wrong on both accounts. The individual, American citizen, natural born or naturalized, is a person in legal terms. The English plurality of person is people. The Constitution was written in English. Wow. It was written in English. Even a 3-year-old can figure this stuff out. So now I'm going to dissect it for you an absolute legalese. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. Well-trained, well-armed, well-equipped, and well-fed. Minutemen that make up the militia. Because those individuals make up that militia, and because they are necessary to keep the state from eating itself and destroying what has been created, and also to protect the state itself and the country from outside influence. The right of the people to keep and bear arms. Right there. The right of the people. Not of the government, not of the militias, but of the people. To keep and bear arms, meaning to have it about your home, to keep it about your person, to have access to it immediately. To bear arms. The use of, the furnishing of, the creation of, and the proliferation of arms, meaning guns, knives, bows, bullets, bayonets, swords, axes, explosives, nuclear fucking weapons, fighter jets, armed car convoy carriers, Humvees, tanks, battleships, you name it. We're allowed to have it if we can afford it. Shall, meaning it is law. Not to be infringed, meaning cannot negotiate against or negate entirely in any manner. That's the actual legalese. So the reality of it is that even if somebody told me, you're not allowed to have firearms, I'd tell them, no. I'm not allowed to purchase government-made firearms because they won't let me. That doesn't mean I can't make my own. Because if I can't make my own, then that means that I'm a vegetable because I learned how to make them a long time ago. If I have the tools and the equipment, the materials, I have the know-how and I have the drive, especially somebody telling me that I can't fucking take that crap. So, shall not be infringed, shall not be negated or negotiations brought against in any manner. A lot of people get this wrong. I've even been wrong about this myself. No soldier shall, in time of peace, be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law. That's the Third Amendment. A lot of people don't know that. American warriors, welcome to the chat. Jump up in my stream, shit, I don't care. Amendment number 4. Now, a lot of people don't get this right. They think that number 4 is the Miranda rights. While it is the rights settled by um, the case against the Miranda family, they were acquiesced rights, and they were introduced in the Bill of Rights. So, let us dissect this. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the person or things to be seized. The right of the people means it's your right. Your right. Nobody is allowed to take it from you. You cannot sign it away. It is your right. You can choose not to utilize that right. However, it is still your right. Right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects. Which it's really actually written person, property, papers, and effects. Properties did not just preclude your house or your what have you. Person, property, papers, and effects. That's the Constitution, not houses. It's not your house that you're secure in. It's your property, meaning you own the house, it's your property. You pay rent on that house unless the homeowner is standing there. It is your property. It is your birthright that you may not be harassed inside of your property, not your house, your property. Let's get that through and thick and clear. Papers and effects. Papers, meaning your documents, all of your documents, your personal documents, your private documents, your business documents. Nobody has the right to search through your documents without a warrant, a writ of warrant. That means that a judge has to sign off on it, and that judge has to have probable cause. Not the investigating officer, but the judge has to have probable cause to do so. Through oath or affirmation by the officer. The officer has seen it with their own eyes. They know it to be. So then they can search. Probable cause of a crime is the part that they left out in the new renditions of the Constitution, which is in the original document. I'm watching you fuckers. Urgh. Our founding fathers are spinning in their fucking graves. And it has to be particularly describing the place to be searched and the person or things to be seized. So, no knock warrant, illegal as fuck by this very clause, because in order to do a no knock warrant, that means you can't even serve the warrant. The warrant cannot be served. It has to be served to the individual. Otherwise, it is not a warrant of writ. It is a warrant of mind. Particularly describing the place to be searched and the person or things to be seized. Meaning that they have to show you this piece of paper. And if you have that stuff on your property, you have to give it to them. You have to show it right where it is, and and that. Or if they know where it is, they get the right to search that spot. But just that fucking spot. Nothing else. You don't get the right to go through your computer and through the freaking the stash of your Penthouse magazine sitting on the shelf. They got the right to go to the one spot denoted in the freaking warrant, and that's it. And if they look anywhere else, that warrant is void. Notice that. Okay, here's another good one. I don't know if you've been paying attention lately, but Congress is trying to pass laws which directly negate this one. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the independent press, or the right of the people to peaceably assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievance, also known as peaceful protesting. It's called peaceful for a fucking reason. You're not burning down houses. You're not burning down buildings. You're not going and beating a block down and looting and rioting. You are marching with a sign in your hand, because shouting at the top of your lungs gets a little bit fucking annoying. March. You show people they want to talk to you about a particular, then you talk to them and then they follow you in your march. Instead of being afraid of you and running away because you're burning down buildings. So let's dissect the First Amendment. Congress shall means it is law that Congress cannot make law respecting or prohibiting a religious establishment. Meaning that they can't make a law that it's illegal for somebody to participate in their religion. They also cannot make a law that says that you must adhere to a particular religion or any religion at all. They may not abridge the freedom of speech. Abridge meaning to make small changes. Small, small changes. That's abridging. You are making small changes in order to gloss it over or go to span a gap. May not abridge the freedom of speech. You can't say what I'm saying is hate speech because you hate it. So what if you hate it? If you don't like it, go the fuck away. Go listen to something else. Go talk to someone else. Leave me alone. The right of the independent press, meaning you and me, with a camera in our hands or a notebook and a piece of paper writing down stuff. The right of the independent press. It's not the press. Mind you, the right of the press wasn't even written as the right of the press. It was written as the right of the independent press, meaning each individual has the right to make up their own minds, to seek out the news, to seek out the facts, to go and look for themselves. And they also have a responsibility to show their findings. Semper paratus, always ready. Yes. The right of the people to peaceably assemble. That means all of these things are protected. The Congress can't make a law about this. You can't tell me I can't walk down the street because I didn't get a permit. You can't tell me I can't walk down the street and protest because I'm saying something you don't like. You can't tell me I can't walk down the street and protest, period. End of fucking discussion. I can protest however I see fit, so long as I do no harm to other individuals, person, property, papers, or effects. See how that works? Ugh. I am just fucking you know it. You fucking know it. You cannot tell me I can't be in a crowd. You can't tell me that I can't be in an individual just standing alone by myself. If I'm doing no harm to anybody, then you have no right to tell me that I'm doing harm to somebody. You have no right to investigate me because there is no probable cause or suspicion. You see? I do no harm to any other individual. I keep to myself, carry my own weight, and I do my own thing. That's the big thing about this. The country was built off of you carry your own fucking weight. Don't expect anyone else to pick up your slack. You carry you. Yeah, don't feed the rabbits. You're gonna make them sick. You missed it there, staying high for life, brother. I laid it all out about what was happening in court and all that earlier. So um just rewind, do 5 laps, come back. We'll be waiting for you. Why did you trust them in the first place? What is it that politicians do best? Huh? What is it that politicians do best? They slither around like snakes, lying through their teeth and their forked tongues. That is what politicians do best. They lie, they cheat, and they steal. I'm pissing them off, folks. Can you see? They hate me. They really hate me. That's exactly what they do best. Lie, cheat, steal, and touch on little kids when everybody's not looking and talk about it like it's a pizza party. You like the jab there, Clinton? You liked it? You like it? Get some. Get some. Knife man, fucker. And see, that's why I can't understand this shit. I don't like it. And I don't like it when people try to dissect it so that everybody can understand it. If you can't understand it, I'm sorry for you, but that's not my problem. I understood this when I was 3. Let that blow your mind. I read the freaking Constitution when I was 3 and understood it. Amendment 5. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia. That's in there. Hope you like it. When an actual service time in a time of war or public danger. Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb. That's our Fifth Amendment, folks. Nor shall they be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against themselves, nor to be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. That's the Fifth Amendment, folks. Let's unpack that fucking shitstorm real quick. No person shall be held to answer, meaning that nobody, not a single person, can be brought up on criminal charges for a capital or otherwise infamous crime, meaning a felony, okay? Unless on a presentment or indictment, meaning that you are either served with a subpoena or indicted and served by a subpoena and publicly ousted as indicted by a grand jury. That means in the Supreme Court, not the Superior Court, not state courts, the Supreme freaking Court. You're not allowed to be prosecuted for a felony if you're not in the Supreme Court. Amazing, isn't it? You cannot be prosecuted for a felony unless it is presented before the Supreme Court. There has to be a grand jury. A grand jury is the 13 justices of the Supreme Court. Imagine how convoluted shit's gotten. Man. Hey, Zach, how you doing, brother? The fight for patriotism. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Ah! Hey, love you, brother. We're going over the amendments here because I just got out of court and I'm fucking pissed. I am the governor. You got a problem, son? I got 99 and your ass ain't one. Woo! Okay. So, without indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land, naval forces, or in the militia. That means if you are outspoken militia, you could be brought up on state charges. I want you to understand that and remember it. Because that's how I've been brought up on state charges. I am the militia. I choose to go armed. So I can be brought up on felony charges if I commit a felony. And that's why I'm very careful about that. Believe it or don't, that's right fucking there. All that glorious beautifully doodly doodly right there. The Fifth Amendment. Yo aha kohoki ne. Akiwa konkiachi. Cherokee Nation. Wolf Conqueror tribe. To answer staying half alive. So, yeah, when in actual service in time of war or public danger, meaning right now, you can be brought up on felonious charge. Okay, well, on charge of felony. Right now, you can because the nation is in turmoil, public danger. Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb, meaning that you cannot be charged with the same felony twice, especially if you have been acquitted of that felony. You cannot be charged twice. Nor shall they be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against themselves. When you say, I plead the fifth, and you are on the witness stand, that means you cannot witness against yourself, testify against yourself in any manner. That means if the prosecution comes up on there and you say, I plead the fifth, that means they have to release you at that moment from any further witness testimony. You only have to answer witness testimony to the prosecution so long as it is helpful to your case. You see that? You cannot be compelled. That is the Fifth Amendment. It is unlawful, and it means that that person that allows that in that courtroom can be brought up on federal charges in front of a grand jury and the Supreme Court. Nor may they be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. You understand what that means? Without a warrant, they can't search and seize evidence. Without due process of law, they can't take your gun away. They cannot just march into your house and take your guns. It's illegal, it's unlawful, and it should be reduced to fucking cinders on the spot. That's reality. Nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. That means any work did it work? It worked. Okay, I blame ScrewTube. Anywho, they do apply to us. All these laws apply to us. Anyways, like I said, in work you do, if you use your own personal property in order to do that work, your own personal materials to do that work, that becomes your property, whatever work you do. And without compensating you for that work, that person is in violation of the United States Constitution. Persons, or individuals otherwise. That's what without just compensation means. You need to be compensated for your works, for your efforts, for your goods, for your property, for your properties. That includes livestock, that includes land, that includes vehicles, that includes a team of mules. Aloha, Steve, aloha. Oh, fuck. I fucked up your name. Sorry. So there's your legalese explanation for that. Uh, your Sixth Amendment. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial. Public, not private. You have the right to have it recorded, and you. Yeah, it was screw tube. Fuck 5. 5 by 5. 5 by 5. 5 by 5. A row. Anyways, yeah, I'm talking about the United States Constitution. So I guarantee you right now, there is somebody out there that has got a wild hair of butthurt up their ass. I'm doing it right. So, by the way, if I missed anybody, I apologize. Um, I'm trying to stay on it up and up and quick with it, but just stick with me. Stick with me. Stay worthy. Um, In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witnesses against him, to him or her. Mind you, I'm not biased. I'm just reading the Constitution as it was fucking written. Thank you. To be confronted with the witnesses against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense, should you so choose. In all criminal prosecutions, this means every time you walk in front of a judge, it doesn't matter if it's a misdemeanor, an infraction, a misdemeanor, or a felony. Okay? Every time. The right to a speedy and public trial means that they have to let it be seen. Other individuals must know how it is being done. And the individuals inside of that courtroom today, my God, I saw tears as folks tore into me. Not the folks in the courtroom, mind you, that were part of the viewership, but the folks that were actually doing the prosecution were tearing me up. The people that were sitting there watching, witnessing what was happening inside of this public trial were aghast, besides themselves. There were people crying, there were people who were having emotional breakdowns by watching me get slandered by an individual. The prosecutor. by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed. Meaning, for my case, I should have had a bunch of jurors from the state of California, but because the case has already been and done dismissed, they're just, running it past the judge for a vote of innocence. Yeah, amazing how you can get around that clause, isn't it? To be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation. The nature of the accusation. Felonious animal cruelty with maliciousness. Because I euthanized a couple of kittens because they were very sick. And the arresting officer was a cat lover. I'm sorry about your butt hurt, but you could take that shit to fuck on. That's not my problem. I love cats too. Anybody have any argument with that? Ask Hawkstooth. How do I treat Kitty Kitty? I love that cat. There's already a federal National Guard. It's called the United States Army. National Guard. Anyways, as I was saying, this is against you, meaning that they can't just say something and then those accusations are met out in court. They actually have to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. You have the right to issue subpoena. It's not just the court. The court will subpoena on your behalf if you so request it. But you have the right to issue subpoena for somebody to be at a court case. Nah, you're not being bothersome. You're righteous. They're gonna take down your comments. I hear every single one of them. Boom. Assistance of counsel for the defense. You have the right to listen to your counsel or to disagree with him and go your own route if you so choose. That's called pro per. It's called proper use of the Constitution. Pro per. Pro per. As in pro per in the situation. Okay. Per is in the situation. Pro. Your person. Okay. In suits at common law, where the value in controversy shall exceed $20, the right of trial by jury shall be preserved. And no fact tried by a jury shall otherwise be re-examined in any court in the United States than according to the rules of common law. That's $20 fucking. Not $100, not $1,000, not $10,000, 20 fucking bucks. You have the right to a jury. And it's all according to common law. It's not according to the Constitution of the United States at all, or the Court of the United States. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. Let me go through that again for those of you who were not keeping up. Excessive bail shall not be required, meaning that if you cannot pay it out of your own pocket, it is excessive. If you have a penny, then your bail should be a penny. If you have $40 to your name, your bail should be $40. If you have $100 to your name, your bail should be $100, and so on and so forth. Not to be set by the courts, to be set by your limits. Nor excessive fines or fees imposed, meaning that if you couldn't pay for it in the beginning for the bail, they can't fine you because you don't have the money to pay for it anyways. That's fines or fees imposed. Nor cruel or unusual punishments inflicted. You are not subject to drawing and quartering as an American citizen. You are not subject to being raked over hot coals as an American citizen. You are not subject to being forced into a gibbet as an American citizen. You are not subject to any fucking thing except jail time in order to think over what the fuck you did. Comprendes, Mendez? I'm not even going to read you guys the freaking dissection of that because it's fucking gibberish. I'm disgusted by this book. I'm just reading y'all the Constitution and explaining it in the words of an educated individual. Because that's what I do. I am educated. As you can see behind me, every single one of those books has at least been perused by yours truly. I have stood to my duty. I fought this whole case for the Fourth Amendment. You know, that's why now it's a matter of issuance of innocence, because I fought the whole case with the Fourth Amendment, meaning that it's my property. I can do what the fuck I want with it. If I had drowned them, I'd still be in the same situation, only I wouldn't be proven innocent. That's my point. Even though many people would have just thrown them in a sack and drowned them. It's cruel. It's harsh. It's not something I approve of. However, people do it all the time. I'm not saying that they don't. I say that I'm logical, rational, reasonable, and I wouldn't want to have to drown to death. If I have to die, I'd rather go with a bullet in my brain. Thank you very much. And first things first, I'm going to make some other motherfuckers pave the way. And when I say other motherfuckers, they're going to be attacking me while I do it. So, Amendment 9. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people, No, they are not. You are. I am. Nobody is in charge of us. We are in charge of them. And it is only when we allow them to bend us over a barrel and ass rape us into submission that they become the power. I want you to understand that. That's a reality. The 10th Amendment to the United States Constitution. The power is not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or to the individual people themselves. A man is an island in the United States. Don't you just love when they fuck with you on the screw tunes? Yeah. A man is an island in the United States, though. Yes. And yet, we are a island chain, a union of islands, because we are all individuals, and yet we are all the people. Ain't that great? Welcome to America. Glad you liked it. Hope you like your stay. Oh, the judicial power of the United States shall not be construed to extend to any suit in law or equity, commenced or prosecuted against one of the United States by citizens of another state, or by citizens or subjects of any foreign state. This means that if you are in a foreign state, they have to prosecute you there. They don't have the right to tell you that you have to come back to this state in order to prosecute. That's called extradition. And in the United States, within the United States confines, is illegal. It's illegal to take you across those state lines. Yep, they can't in law or equity. That means monetarily or physically. The physical law, meaning you are held to do time behind bars instead of paying some fine or fee because the crime is so egregious that even a fine or fee is not enough. Or say you can't pay the fee, so you must do the time. And then, of course, there is the 12th Amendment, which is the Electoral College, the amendment to the Electoral College, which I'm not big on. But Amendment 9 is the powers left to the people. The 13th Amendment is multi-sectional. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. And 2, Congress shall have the power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. That's it. You may not make slaves. You may not keep slaves. You may not house slaves. You may not have slaves. That means any slaves. What's so fucking ever? And it was done over 100 fucking years ago. It's called the Civil War Reconstruction. Welcome to history, motherfuckers. Hope you enjoy your stay. Like I said, except as a punishment for crime, where the party shall have been duly convicted, meaning they can't force you to work, not unless you went and committed a crime. If they ask you to work, they must compensate you for that work. And that Congress has the right to enforce that through legislation and law enforcement or militia, should the militia be dispatched to see to that. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. Section 2 of Amendment 14. Representatives shall be apportioned among the several states, according to their respective numbers, counting the whole number of persons in each state, and including Indians not taxed. Meaning that if you're Native American, you don't have to pay taxes. Did you know that? Because I knew that. But when the right to vote at any election for the choice of electors for President and Vice President of the United States, representatives in Congress, the executive and judicial offices of state, or the members of the legislature thereof, is denied to any male or female inhabitants of such state, being 21 years of age and citizens of the United States, or in any way abridged, except for participation in rebellion, in open rebellion. That's actually reality what it says, in open rebellion, or other crime. The basis of representation therein shall be reduced in the proportion which the number of such citizens shall bear to the whole number of citizens 21 years of age in such states. Damn, Lincoln, how do you erode our Constitution again? Fucker. No person shall be a senator or representative in Congress or elector of president and vice president, or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or under any state who, having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or as an officer in the United States or as a member of state legislature or as an executor of judicial officer of any state to support the Constitution of the United States, shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same, or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. But Congress may, by vote of 2/3 of each house, remove such disability. Congress, if you don't remember this, during the Obama years, removed that disability. The validity of the public debt of the United States authorized by law, including debts incurred for payment of pensions and bounties for services in suppressing insurrection or rebellion, should not be questioned. But neither United States nor any state shall assume or pay any debt or obligation incurred in the aid of insurrection or rebellion against the United States, or any claim or loss of emancipation of any slave, but all such debts, obligations, and claims shall be held illegal and void. Meaning, because I know this one needs to be dissected because it got a little bit convoluted in that one. The validity of the public debt of the United States, meaning that its actual value to every American citizen, as authorized by law, including debts incurred for payment of pensions and bounties for services in suppressing insurrection or rebellion, shall not be questioned. Meaning, if I were to charge our government with dereliction of duties for not paying me for my operating procedure and my operating debts, for going and aiding during the riots for services rendered, I am due just compensation. And they must compensate me by law. The Congress shall have the power to enforce by appropriate legislation the provisions of this article. Okay? But mind you, that's you can't help insurrectionists. You can't help the freaking terrorists. You actually have to act against them in some manner or another in aid of the government during those times of insurrection or rebellion. That's what I do. I go out and I help. I've actually been in the midst of the violence, and I'm not happy about that either. But at the same time, doing my job, doing my duty. I'm an American Minuteman, and I am fucking proud of that, damn it. I earned every fucking goddamn stripe on that flag, you betcha. The right of the citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or any state on account of race, color, or previous conditions of servitude. Meaning, because I'm white, you can't tell me that my vote doesn't fucking count. Because I'm Native American, you can't tell me my vote doesn't fucking count. Because my friend is black, you can't tell him his vote doesn't fucking count. You have to have a justifiable, lawful reason for the negation of his vote for the interim of that negation. And it has to continue to be justifiable. Once it is no longer justifiable, it is negated. The 16th Amendment. Blech. Blech. I hate this fucking amendment. And you should too, if you know anything about American history. The Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes on incomes from whatever source derived, without apportionment amongst the several states, and without regard to any census or enumeration. Congress can lift this ban if 2/3 of the Senate and House of Representatives agree. Oh, wait. Sorry. I got that backwards. I have to skip a page here because it's on the other side. Sorry. The Senate, 17th Amendment. That's a very quick amendment. The Senate of the United States shall be, you know what? I'm going to jump back here because that needs to be dissected. I think that people misconstrue what the collection of taxes and what a census or enumeration actually precludes. without apportionment amongst the several states. That means that it's only the federal government that's allowed to appropriate tax for an income, and it's a percentage, not anything else. And it must be justified. It must be justified, meaning that even the little guy can pay it. Even the little guy can afford it and still eat. That's the law. And without regard to census or enumeration. That means that they don't think, well, we've only got this many people in the country, so we can only tax this much, or, we can tax all of them for this much, rather than because, and that's because the national debt or this, that, or the other. They can only tax you a certain percentage, and if they go above that percentage, then the people have every right to refuse and protest. That's the law. It's right here in fucking black and white. But if you really want to get into it, we can go and look it up on the internet. And photographic evidence of the United States Constitution through. It's there for anybody who wants to go look it up. United States Library of Congress /archives. So, the 17th Amendment. The Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state, elected by the people thereof, for 6 years. 6 years. Term limit. And each senator shall have 1 vote. The electors in each state shall have the qualifications requisite for electors of the most numerous branch of the state legislatures. When vacancies happen in the representation of any state in this Senate, the executive authority of such state shall issue writs of election to fill such vacancies, provided that the legislature of any state may empower the executive thereof to make temporary appointments until the people fill the vacancies by election as the legislature may direct. Which, as the legislature may direct is bullshit. May fill the vacancies by election. It's actually where it originally stopped. It's something I needed to pay attention to when I was younger. This amendment shall not be construed as to affect the election or term of any senator chosen before it becomes valid as part of the Constitution. That means, yeah, the other senators from before the Constitution was ratified served out lifelong terms. That does not mean that senators nowadays may. They have 6 years. And then they are ousted and must be voted in again, if anything. And they do not have the choice to be voted in the same state. After 1 year from the ratification of this article, the manufacture, sale, or transportation of intoxicating later. Yeah, that was the prohibition, which is negated by, well, of course, we have the voting rights for women, we have the terms of president, vice president, and whatnot, explanations and whatnot, presidential, congressional terms. Then we have the 21st Amendment, which repeals the 18th Amendment. The 18th article of amendment to the Constitution of the United States is hereby repealed. The transportation or importation into any state, territory, or possession of the United States for delivery or use therein of intoxicating liquors in violation of the laws thereof is hereby prohibited. That states, not United States, but states themselves. This article shall be inoperative unless it shall have been ratified as an amendment to the Constitution, in which it was. The conventions of the several states, as provided in the Constitution, within 7 years of the date of the submission hereof to the state Congress, or to the states by Congress. No person shall be elected to office of the president more than twice. No person who has held the office of president or acted as president for more than 2 years of a term to which some other person was elected president shall be elected to the office of president more than once. Guess what, Biden? You can't run again, son. You're fucked. Don't you just love it? Hey there. Aloha, brother. And thank you for sticking around. Yeah, Biden is fucked. Because as soon as he is out, because he spent time where another president has spent 2 years of his term, Biden can never be president again. See how that works? But Trump can. Isn't that an interesting bit? Trump can be a president again. I'll let that blow your mind. Not apply to any person holding the office of president. This article was proposed by the Congress and shall not prevent. This is all just the part of that that's been negated by the fact that this was ratified. The 23rd Amendment. The district constituting the seat of government in the United States shall appoint in such manner as the Congress may direct a number of electors of president and vice president equal to the whole number of senators and representatives in Congress to which the district would be entitled if it were a state, but in no event more than the least populous state. They shall be in addition to those appointed by the states, but they shall be considered for the purposes of election of president, vice president, to the electors appointed by a state, and shall meet in the district and perform such duties as provided by the 12th Article of Amendment. Section 2. The Congress shall have the power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. Who's been dropping a ball? Who's been dropping that ball? Yes, you. It's been you. Congress, it's been you. Oh, fuckers. Steve Aloha. Okay. The right of the citizens of the United States to vote in any primary or other election for president or vice president, for electors or president or vice president, or for senator or representative in Congress shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or any state by reason of failure to pay any poll tax or other tax. Meaning that even if you don't pay taxes, you do not get denied the right to vote. In the case of the removal of the president from office, or his death, or his resignation, the vice president shall become president. Wait, so that would mean that because President Trump was impeached, that would mean that Pence is our president, not Biden. Ooh, shit. So, okay. Whenever there is a vacancy in the office of vice president, the president shall nominate a vice president who shall take office upon confirmation by a majority vote of both houses of Congress, meaning the House and the Senate. Not just the House. That's Republicans and Democrats of both the House and the Senate in Congress. Okay. No, we've hammered that particular one, Ned. Whenever the president transmits to the president pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House Representatives his written declaration that he is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, and until he transmits them to a written declaration on the contrary, such powers and duties shall be discharged by the vice president as acting president. If the president cannot transmit to the president pro tempore of the Senate or the Speaker of the House that his written declaration, by his written declaration, that he is unable to discharge the powers or the duties of office because he's such a dementia dimwit, guess we're kind of fucked, aren't we? Because now we don't even have a fucking president. We have an idiot. Sorry. Okay. Whenever the vice president and a majority of either the principal officers of the executive departments or of such other body as Congress may by law provide, transmit to the president pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives their written declaration that the president is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, the vice president shall immediately assume the powers and duties of the office as acting president. Thereafter, when the president transmits to the president pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives his written declaration that no inability exists, he shall resume the powers and duties of his office. Unless the vice president and majority of the other principal officers of the executive department, blah, 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 basically telling you that we are fucked because, folks, they are running the show. At that point, this is why I didn't like beyond a certain enumeration of amendment, because we always knew that Congress would go and make holes and everything. The right of the citizens of the United States who are 18 years of age or older to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States by any state on account of age. 18 years of age or older. Well, shit, I guess my dad's going to be voting this coming election. Don't know who for. That fucker's getting old. He's like, what, 63? He's over there in the corner. He's turning into dust. That shit's funny. You gotta laugh at that. That's just too funny. No law varying the compensation for the services of senators and representatives shall take effect until an election of representatives shall have intervened. You know what that means? We'll go back. We'll check it out. Hold on a second. No law varying the compensation for the services of senator and representatives shall take effect until an election of representatives shall have intervened. That means that they may not write their own salaries. It cannot take effect until representatives of a small constituent body, unbiased, not part of the Senate, not part of anything, has intervened, or in other words, voted on what the hike should be in their salary, or a reduction in their salary should be. And I'm not reading the Gettysburg Address right now. So we've been over the amendments. We've kind of hammered this like fucking Thor with Molnir. We've had enough of their shit, and we know what these little bits and bobs do for us. We are the militia. Insurrection aside, any government that is, and this is in the Declaration of Independence, okay, any government that is illegitimate, therefore holds no sway in rule of law within the United States. Up early. Shit, I ain't even gone to bed yet. The Declaration of Independence. This is one of my favorite documents. Okay, let's go to the actual fucking declaration. In Congress, July 4, 1776, the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with one another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created as equals, and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, and that chiefest amongst these are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, although not enumerated, certainly important. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted amongst men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be charged for light and transient causes, and that accordingly all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than right themselves by abolishing such government, or by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, nay, it is their duty, to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future securities. Such has been the patent sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity with which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain in his history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. That he has refuted his assent to law, the most wholesome and necessary for the public good. That he has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance, unless suspended in their operation till his assent should be obtained. And when so suspended, he has utterly neglected to attend them. He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people, unless those people would relinquish the right of representation in the legislature, a right inestimable to them and formidable to tyrants only. He has called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the depository of their public records, for the sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with his measures. He has dissolved the representative houses repeatedly, for opposing with manly firmness his invasions on the rights of the people. He has refused for over a long train of time, after such dissolutions, to cause others to be elected, whereby the legislative powers, incapable of annihilation, have returned to the people at large for their own exercise, the state remaining in the meantime exposed to all the dangers of invasion from without and convulsions within. He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states, for that purpose obstructing the laws for naturalization of foreigners, refusing to pass others to encourage their migrations hither, and raising the conditions of new appropriation of lands. Basically, he's telling people to get off their own fucking property and then outpricing the fucking properties, making it so that, you know, the big companies can come in and buy it and he gets a cut from that, and you go. Sound familiar? He has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing his assent to laws for establishing judiciary power. Just switch out he with they, you have your answer. Yes. He has made judges dependent upon his will alone for the tenure of their offices and the amount and payment of their salaries. He has erected a multitude of new offices and sent hither a swarm of officers to harass our people and to eat out their substance. He has come amongst us in times of peace, standing armies without the consent of our legislatures. Meaning creating fucking maintained armies on the ground in America without consent of the legislature or the people. It is effected to render the military independence of a superior to the civil power. Independent of and superior to the civil power. He has combined with others to subject us to a jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution and unacknowledged by our laws, giving his assent to their acts of pretended legislation. For quartering large bodies of armed troops amongst us. for protecting them by a mock trial from punishment for any murders which they should commit on the inhabitants of these states, for cutting off our trade with all parts of the world, for imposing taxes upon us without our consent, for depriving us in many cases of the benefits of trial by jury, for transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretended offenses, for abolishing the free system of English law in a neighboring province, establishing therein arbitrary government, and enlarging its boundaries as to render it at once an example and fit instrument for introducing the same absolute rule into these colonies, for taking away our charters, abolishing our most valuable laws, and altering fundamentally by the forms of our governments, for suspending our own legislatures and declaring themselves invested with power to legislate for us in all cases whatsoever. He has abdicated the government here by declaring us out of his protection and by waging war against us. He has plundered our seas, ravaged our coasts, burnt our towns, and destroyed the lives of our people. He is, at this time, transporting large armies of foreign mercenaries to complete the works of death, desolation, and tyranny already begun with the circumstances of cruelty and perfidy scarcely paralleled in the most barbarous ages, and totally unworthy of the head of a civilized nation. He has constrained our fellow citizens taken captive on the high seas to bear arms against their own countrymen, to become the executioners of their friends and brethren, or to fall themselves by their hands. He has excited domestic insurrections amongst us, and has endeavored to bring upon the inhabitants of our frontiers the merciless Indian savages, whose known rule of warfare is indistinguished destruction of all ages, sexes, and conditions. It's not exactly the same people, but it's the same tactic. In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress in the most humble of terms. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury. A prince whose character is thus marked by every act which may define a tyrant is unfit to be the ruler of a free people. Nor have we been wanting in attentions to our British brethren. Replace British with DC. Go ahead. Tell me what you think. We have warned them from time to time of attempts by their legislature to extend an unwarrantable jurisdiction over us. We have reminded them of the circumstances of our emigration and the settlement here. We have appealed to their native justice and magnanimity, and have conjured them by the ties of our common kindred to disavow these usurpations, which would inevitably interrupt our connections and correspondence. They too have been deaf to the voice of justice and of consanguinity. Blah. Spit it out there. We must, therefore, acquiesce in the necessity which denounces our separation, and hold them as we hold the rest of mankind, enemies in war, but in peace friends. We therefore, the representatives of the United States of America, in our homes, with our own words and our own hearts, and in general Congress assembled, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, do, in the name and by the authority of the good people of these colonies, and by the Lord God on high, solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are, of right, ought to be free and independent states, and that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and to all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain, and ought to be totally dissolved, or is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that as free and independent states, they will have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and to do all other acts and things which independent states may have right to do. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. Assigned, John Hancock. New Hampshire, Josiah Bartlett, William Whipple, Matthew Thornton. Of Massachusetts, John Hancock, Samuel Adams, John Adams, Robert Treat, Robert Treat Payne, Eldridge Gary. Of Rhode Island, Stephen Hopkins and William Ellery. Of the state of Connecticut, Roger Sherman, Samuel Huntington, William Williams, Oliver Walcott. Of the state of New York, William Floyd, Philip Livingston, Francis Lewis, Lewis Morris. Of the state of New Jersey, Richard Stockton, John Witherspoon, Francis Hopkinson, John Hart, and Abraham Clark. Of Pennsylvania, Robert Morris, Benjamin Rush, Benjamin Franklin, John Morton, George Clymer, James Smith, George Taylor, James Wilson, and George Ross. Of Delaware, Caesar Rodney, George Reed, Thomas McKean. Of Maryland, Samuel Chase, William Paca, Thomas Stone, Charles Carroll of Carrollton. Of Virginia, George Wythe, Richard Henry Lee, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Harris, Thomas Nelson Jr., Francis Lightfoot Lee, Carter Braxton. Of North Carolina, William Hooper, Joseph Hughes, John Penn. Of South Carolina, Edward Rutledge, Thomas Hayward Jr., Thomas Lynch Jr., and Arthur Middleton. Of Georgia, Button Gwinnett, Lyman Hall, George Walton. "55 men in iron pen did sign a declaration of war, to beget peace, love, and fidelity amongst their united brethren. They sought fit that Master Matlack should not offend, and that all should come out and be ousted, to be sent according and sent true to his majesty in all of his girth, King George III. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Declaration of Independence. Now, maybe you didn't catch it while I was reading it. I looked at you right square in the eye telling you that this was who? James Smith. My ancestor. In fact, the ancestor of many Smiths in America. We signed that declaration. He signed that declaration. And he did so in full knowledge that if we lost that war, they would be hanged, then drawn and quartered, and then parted and have their body parts raced across the land to the four corners of the earth. They'd be buried at opposite ends of the globe. Weights and measures, checks and balances. But yeah, I hear you. I just want to make sure that we all are on the same page and on the same level. So when somebody tells you you do not have the right to say these things because it's hate speech, you could tell them to go fuck themselves because my great 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 granddad signed a piece of paper and sent it to King George and told him to go fuck himself. With this flag, 13 stars in a circle. The willingness to fight, to defend your rights. That is what our country is lacking now. And I blame the parents for dodging the draft. I blame the children for having draft dodging parents and not having the balls to stand up and say, you know, I'm going to go and volunteer. I'm going to go do my duty to pay it forwards, to pay it back, to earn my spot in this country. In my opinion, you're all just a bunch of pussies. So I have one question for you, pussies. The fuck have you done lately? Well, that went down a sunny pipe. Yep. Maybe that's because you've taken a highly liberal stance about things instead of going out there and taking it for yourself. Believe it or don't, I went out and took it for myself. And then they came and found me. That's how that worked. I had to show progress before they came and found me. Which means that maybe you're going to have to show progress too before they come and find you. Okay, so while I'm outside, folks, I can't talk. I can't be loud because, of course, welcome to the communist state of the communist state of California. You know, welcome to the system. Please enjoy your stay. Shout out, Tom McDonald. Ooch! Just before I step outside. So, anyways, I'm gonna step outside and have me a smoke. Um, when I do, I will be turning this mic onto mute. Don't get me wrong, I will still interact with you in chat. I will still interact with anybody on the panel. It's just a matter of I'm going to end up typing a lot. So don't mind me if you see me bouncing around in the background or you see a cigarette butt, a little cigarette red cherry doing this. That's because I'm typing like a mad fucker. Okay? Okay. Now, there we go. Yeah. Fuck their system. Yeah. Okay. It's loud out there, so sorry. There, see? Everything's better. I'm inside. Wow. Oh. So, how y'all doing? I missed you. Fire drill. Hey, Yucky. Hey, kiddo. What up? My whole. Oh boy. I know. He's a good boy. Mhm. He's paying attention. Yeah. No, not better than you. Ah, I just Googled you. No, I won't do target practice on the neighbors. That'd be mean. Yeah, there's probably some fat butt inspector somewheres. You betcha. But that's all right, because I'm skinny, so I didn't have the skin. I don't have a fat butt for them to inspect. I'm not worried. Mhm. Oh, so anyways, it's good seeing y'all. Good hanging out, giving y'all updates and whatnot. Dakota, did I give you a blue zoot suit last time you were here? I think I did. I don't know. I gotta check that out. Hoodoo. Just all. Did I get? I didn't give you a blue zoot suit. Well, shit. I guess Dakota Hayes now has a blue zoot suit, aka dress blues. Keep 'em handy. There may be trolls. Eh, yeah, just period the name next to your comment. You'll like it for a second. Like, woohoo! And they'd be like, oh, wait, everybody's blue here. Knock them out with the wrench of righteousness. I love that. Hi, Debs. I'm back. Good to see you. Good to see you. Always good when Debs comes in. Changed your look, huh? No, they don't, Hawk. You've missed it the last couple of nights, man. Straight up, freaking just troll brigade, just flowing through like no, they ain't got nothing better to do in the middle of the freaking middle of the night. Not like they got a job or a life or anything. Almost like they need to be arrested just so that they'd have something to do. It's like, fuck. What? Uh, yeah, the Russians like to flatter me with porn bombs. That's funny. Not the Russians, no. Not the Russians. We'll let you trip out on this. They're Americans. You bet your ass there's Americans that'll do that. It's not actually the FBI, believe it or don't. They're really on my side in a lot of it. It's not the FBI. Believe it or don't. It's just a couple of young cocksuckers ain't got nothing better to do than sit there and run through people's live streams and go, fuck you, and then take off. That's all they do. They're just a bunch of nobodies that's got no life, so that's what they do. They're not like you and me. We've got lives. We get out there. We do. We are fucking normal human beings that actually get shit done. And then we just hang out for a while and have a good time because we're American. Mm, my job, my life too. Just not my kids. Yeah, some seriously sophisticated equipment that some of it is illegal. Well, not really. You can afford to run that amount of processing power, then yeah, you're allowed to have it, legally speaking. Now, morally speaking, should you? I'm not asking whether there should be a law about it or not. I'm just saying, morally speaking, should you have that much? And that high tech, hardcore of equipment? It's up to you. I mean, yeah, most you're either a hacker or the hacked, so that's how that works. I mean, I think like, I think my longest was like 16 hours straight. Um, how many kids do I have? If you count the ones with four paws and fur, if you count the ones that I raised as a kid, along with those four paws and fur, I didn't got enough fingers on one hand to do it. um, And when I says raised, I raised as a kid. I helped to raise my sisters. I didn't do it all by myself. My mama didn't do it all by herself. My daddy didn't do it all by himself. We all pitched in. When my sister was old enough and her little sister was born, she pitched in a little bit. She helped out because I made it a point. Hey, if I had to do this, why doesn't she? I don't care about, whether or not this, that, or the other. We're in America. We're all equals. We all share the burden equally. We all kick ass equally, and we all reap the benefits in that equal order, too, according to our efforts, therefore, according to our gains. I think I might have gone for like 12, 14 hours, something like that. Something stupid the other day. So yeah, 3. 2 of them are up there with Oxtooth right now. The other one's here with me right now. He's well enough trained he can, fall out with me. So I expect, that you are going to be doing the same with Venus when you come down here. I've heard that much from Jeremiah. I expect it. You need to get yourself set up so you can take her with you. Lucky. You know how, yeah. Um, Hyperinflation, not recession, not depression. What do they call it? Economic death. Uh, Damn, Dakota, that's giving your dog some uh dangerous appetizers there. Raw meat. That's dangerous to give a dog. You give them worms and all sorts of problems that way, unless you're in the fucking bitter cold. Um, Debs, you missed it. Beginning of this video. Go back, do 5 laps. Come on back. We'll see you again. I just read the entire Constitution and the Declaration of Independence for any who are willing or will be listening at the beginning of this show. I came right out. I did the update on what happened in the the court case. If you didn't catch it, you can go back in the video here in the live stream, and run back there. It's several hours back, I'm sure, but yeah, full on read it all out. Oh, what? Hmm. Really? It's about what I have to feed when I'm up there, and or get again. This one's 109 pounds of dog. Well, Hawk, you know what I'm going to do when I stop getting, when, money stops rolling in. You know what I'm going to do. When it really comes down to it and everything's done fucked off and all that, and there's no more money to work, there's no economy running, everything's fucked off to all to the point where, nothing's going to go. You just got the notification. That's pretty sad. Yeah, that's not hackers. I got it. Figured. And it ain't the hackers. It's just YouTube suppressing and shadow banning me and keeping me from talking about very important topics that they can go back and say, no, you can't do that because it's real. We only allow fake on here. Houdini's what they call a big three combat dog. Um, he's the what you call a quintessential combat mutt. He's a Doberman, German Shepherd, and a Lucian Shepherd. The big three. Yeah. The only one I didn't go with was a digestive eruption. Um, we'll call it fecal rocketry. See, that's the thing. The thing that was actually created in America to guard against all of that was the people being so armed, ready to stand to and protect their own. That's what that is in a nutshell. You cannot be invaded by any individuals whatsoever, government or otherwise, because we are a free people. And YouTube's going to try and say, you can't say that. And I'm going to be like, the fuck I can't. I just read you the freaking contract, the business contract that you have to adhere to in order to freaking do business in the United States. Hello. It's a beautiful one, isn't it? You don't understand the legalese, then you need to go back to preschool. It's for you. Okay, Debs. Yeah, we're gonna call that defecation station, and you're gonna have to sit there on the toilet. It's gonna suck every time you go to take a shit. It's gonna suck because it's gonna come out scattered and splattered with a little bit of force. Just how ivermectin works. You're also gonna feel absolutely freaking phenomenal, and you're not gonna know why. It's my new niche, huh? Narrate a book for us. Okay, sure. Why are you taking? Well, why else would you take ivermectin? Um, Parasites. Limb grabbing, dislocated people. Yes and no. See, the ones who have this wild idea of marauding, they're gonna meet guys and gals like you and I, and they're gonna be sorry they went marauding. And then there's gonna be less marauders, which is gonna open up certain places to different trade. Because that's what inevitably happens when you have people moving around and moving a lot off of land because they've had the land bought up and now it's being bought up and bought up and bought up and bought up and it's way too high in price and whatnot. And so they're made to go mobile. What you're going to have is a lot of people who are marauding in order to feed themselves because, you know, ammo's a good thing, very good thing. Like I said, you know, guys and gals like you and I, we're not going to have to deal with. They don't know what they're going to have to deal with, so they're walking into this with, you know, the idea of we're prepping to steal from your house. So if you're prepping to steal from my house, you'd better bring a fucking army, armed to the teeth, and all of them better be willing to die in order for you to get inside the door. Just saying. Because you've got a wall of hell to come through. That's all I'm saying. It's not a situation of we're going to steal from this guy. It's not happening. You have yourself a blessed day. And don't you worry now. Y'all come back now, you hear? Put a bullet in your ass. That's what I'd say about him. Y'all come back now, you hear? With a bullet in your ass. A shiner on the eye. Oh, I hope to God not. If it really comes to it, that's going to get hard fucking scar. Won't be able to walk in your goddamn yard. Definite, 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 definite. Get some sleep. Have you a good night. I do hope to hear you again. I hope to see you again. Have a good one. Yes, this is how it's going to feel if you have to take ivermectin. Yeah, not fun. Then you're going to feel all right. That's pretty fucked up, sad. You gotta keep a real close eye on Fido, otherwise he's scattered and splattered. That's nasty, fool. I hope you didn't blow anything up in the yard yet. I'd have liked to have been there to see it. I'm joking. YouTube, don't lose your shit. Explosives are legal in fucking Oregon. Okay? Don't lose your minds. Fuck. Just not landmines. They're not legal any fucking where. They're only used in warfare because, well, it's a great fucking area denial weapon, and somebody's going to be coming in there doing warfare. You post landmines, keep out, and fucking mine the shit out of your front yard, and you mine the shit out of shit. So ain't nobody fucking going and doing nothing with no shit. Mind you, I don't think I'm really going to be worried about it. I think we're going to be just all right. I think Dakota didn't catch that Debs is out. It's all good. Happiness is, even if I'm chuntering myself. Well, we've been at this 3 hours. I think I will cut it off here, give this a chance to keep on it going. Y'all have a good one. And I'll read a dirt sheet. Have you a nice day. Lovely week of mornings and whatnot. And if I don't see you again, good morning, good evening, and good night. I'm out, bitches.